Hello, good morning and welcome. You're watching The Mining Show, brought to you by Blytheway on Core Finance. I'm Charlie Gibson, and as regular viewers will know, one of our more regular guests here is Mkango Resources, and the last time we interviewed them, we were together with the very ebullient Alex Lemon, and today we're being joined by the equally ebullient Chief Executive Officer, Will Dawes. Will, very good morning to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Great, thanks, Charlie.
Pleasure. So give us an overview of the company from your perspective. We've heard it from Alex, but we'd like to hear it from you.
Well, Mkango Resources, we're focused on an advanced stage rare earth project in Malawi. So we've taken that project from an early stage in 2010 all the way through to a pre-feasibility study. So we've got a very large compliant resource, long mine life, in a country that's a very good place to operate.
I see you've done a pre-feasibility study, amongst other things. Can you give us a little bit of a flavour for what that showed?
Yeah, sure. We're looking to produce around 2,800 tonnes per year of rare earths in concentrate, NPV around 345 million, and capex of around 200 million.
So, I mean, a very viable project by any number of perspectives. There's a lot of, I think it'd be fair to say, it wouldn't be fair to say misinformation and disinformation, but there is perhaps a lack of understanding. Would that be fair, do you think, about rare earths? So could I just give you the opportunity and the chance, also for our benefit as well, just to go over what you're producing, what it's used for, why it's important, everything you think we should know about rare earths?
Sure. Well, I mean, rare earths, there's a suite of around 17 rare earths, and they all tend to occur together in different quantities. The most important rare earths, and certainly the ones with the most attractive growth profile, are neodymium, praseodymium, also dysprosium and terbium, and they're used in high-strength permanent magnets. And they go into a whole range of applications, from electric vehicles, wind turbines, disk drives, etc. So those are the most attractive rare earths at the moment. There's also cerium, which is and lanthanum, which are more common rare earths. They're used in things like polishing, fuel cracking catalysts, catalytic converters. You have other rare earths such as europium, which are used in low energy light bulbs. So you're looking at I'd say the overriding usage is for clean energy and technology, and that's certainly the most exciting aspects of the sector at the moment.
So is it high-tech magnets? Is that the main thing? I mean, if you look at the value of these products to your project, where's the most value? Which
the most value is in neodymium, praseodymium, and dysprosium terbium. They make up over around 80% of the in situ value, and certainly that's where the growth is coming from going forward.
And these are all about magnets?
That's right, yeah.
So tell me, why do I want a magnet made out of neodymium, not one made of, I don't know, iron?
Well, it's all to do with having a stronger and therefore enabling a smaller and lighter magnet. So, for example, for an electric vehicle, clearly you want the various components to be as light as possible so you get better acceleration. For a wind turbine, you want a smaller, powerful magnet so you can make that wind turbine taller and more efficient. Same with the hard disk drives, you want a smaller possible magnet, but a powerful magnet, and similarly for example, speakers as well. So it's anything where you want something to be smaller and stronger, and therefore it sort of ties into the whole clean energy, more energy efficient and technology efficient usage and growth going forward.
So would it be fair to say that you're getting more magnetism per gram of metal if you use rare earth than you would if you were using iron?
That's right. Exactly right.
And actually, some of these are quite wacky, aren't they? Because I've seen magnets where they're magnetic one way, and if you turn them through 90 degrees, they're not magnetic at all. And that again, that's another rare earth element. Yeah. So they have funny magnetic properties as well. Some of these,
yeah.
And off the top of my head, I can't quite think what you'd use that for, but I'm sure an engineer can. So, the difficulty, it appears to me, with rare earths, or one of the things that the industry has struggled with cracking, is the metallurgy. And the lots of different deposits, lots of different ideas as to how you might extract it, but quite often not a lot of actual practical work has been done in terms of actually costing these things and actually doing it, actually going through the process.
Well, I think the key thing for rare earth projects is every rare earth project is different. So each project requires a sort of bespoke processing flow sheet. And that takes a lot of work on mineralogy, takes a lot of processing test work. And that's why there's actually very few projects that have advanced have moved to an advanced stage, so have moved to a pre-feasibility study or a feasibility study. But that really creates the opportunity. So we've had a situation where rare earth prices sort of peaked in 2011. That there was a lot of winnowing within the sector where you had the number of exploration companies reducing very substantially, and only very few companies made it through to an advanced stage. And that's really to do with the complexity of moving a project through all those various steps and steps of test work. So, and I think that really creates the opportunity. So we're at a situation now where we've got prices going up, we've got demand increasing, and there's very few projects that are positioned to take advantage of that going forward.
So is Tesla and the whole electric vehicle, the perceived revolution, is that of benefit to you? Can you see or see through to a large degree of demand in the future?
Absolutely, I think there's a huge opportunity. I mean, just picking up, for example, UBS are talking about a 650% increase in rare earth demand in a 100% EV world. And that's just one example. Taking some of the other forecasts out there where you have Morgan Stanley saying a billion electric vehicles on the road in 2050, that has huge implications for rare earths. So it's not just about lithium and cobalt and copper. It actually will have a very, very positive impact on rare earths as well. I mean, each electric vehicle hybrid probably uses around 2 kilograms of rare earth magnets. So a third of the makeup of those magnets will be rare earths. So clearly, when you have this enormous growth coming through from 2 million cars on the road to 1 billion cars on the road, that has massive implications for rare earths.
So is that potential demand of 2 million tonnes of rare earths, or is that?
I'd say, I mean, based on some of the numbers we've been looking at.
I was doing 1 billion times 2 kilograms equals 2,000 million and getting 2 million tonnes.
I mean, just taking the near term for, say, 2025, looking at, say, the Morgan Stanley forecast, that would imply an additional 8,000 tonnes per year demand of neodymium. And that's about 30% increase in demand. And then taking into account other demands from other technology applications, it could be triple that. And when you're looking at Songwe, our project, where we're looking to produce around 1,000 tonnes per year of rare earths used in magnets, you can see the demand coming through. Clearly, there's huge scope for new entrants into the market, such as ourselves.
So have you cracked, we touched there on the metallurgy, have you cracked the metallurgy of Songwe?
No, absolutely. We've been working on it for around 7 years now. And so we've done a huge amount of work on the mineralogy, and we've done a huge amount of work on processing, and we got it through to the pre-feasibility study, and now moving into the feasibility study. So yes, we've done that work, and we spent the time, and we spent the money, and we've sort of de-risked the project from that perspective. So we're positioned as one of the very few projects which can really take advantage of this demand coming through over the next few years.
And am I right in thinking you've got an agreement with Metallica? Is that right? On that?
That's right. That's a very exciting agreement. We're focused on making the alloys that go into the magnets. So making those rare earth alloy powders. And what's very interesting about the Metallica process is that it's a greener and lower cost way of making these alloy powders. So that's the first major positive thing. The second thing is that those alloy powders are particularly suited to 3D printing. So clearly, if you're able to 3D print components for electric vehicles, that's a huge sort of growth market going forward. So that's a very exciting aspect of our project, and I think gives us a real edge and competitive advantage in the rare earth space.
So, and how are you going to sell this? Are you going to front up to Ford and say, here we are, we've got a mine in Malawi and it produces these rare earth powders, do you want to buy them? Do you go through a middleman? Do you have an offtake agreement?
I think what we our sort of the concept is that we are able to produce these downstream products, but when we go to customers, we can say that they're supported by a long-term sustainable source of rare earths, where all the pre-feasibility study and the feasibility study going forward will be to World Bank standards, Equator principles. So we want to demonstrate that all the way through the supply chain, and I think that should be a very attractive proposition to customers going forward.
And if all goes well, when do you see yourself being in production?
We're looking at 3 years. We're looking so it'll be 18 months for the feasibility study, 18 months construction, so we're looking at 3 years.
Excellent. All right, Will, thank you very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Will Dawes, the Chief Executive Officer of Mkango Resources. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for, but I hope you agree that was a very thorough canter through rare earths, what they're used for and why they're important. I usually talk about the share price performance of the shares of our guests. In this case, I'll leave you with this one particular fact. As Will said there, the pre-feasibility study came up with an NPV for the project of something like $345 million US. The company is currently capitalized at about £2.5 million. So as the Americans say, I'll let you do the math. You've been watching The Mining Show, brought to you by Blytheway on Core Finance. I'm Charlie Gibson, and while you're doing that, have a very capital day.